Hello and welcome back to Let's Talk Movies. If you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe for future content. So, today we're going to be speaking regarding two films that are out at out at the beginning of next year. We had the hotly anticipated Bond 25, which was meant to come out on Valentine's Day next year. And we also had Fast and Furious 9, which was meant to come out in late April. Right, so what's happened is Fast and Furious 9 has been pushed forward, or pushed back, whichever one we want to look at it, 1 month, so it now comes out in May. I don't think we actually are. It'll be May 22nd instead of April 10th, 2020. So, we are going to be reading this just from Screen Rant, a little bit of excerpts. So, the wait for Fast and Furious 9 has just been extended by a few weeks thanks to Universal delaying their release date. The studio's once grounded action franchise has now become one of the biggest blockbuster franchises of all time. Most of this success started once Dwayne Johnson joined the property, but with him off doing his own Hobbs & Shaw spin-off, it'll be Vin Diesel who will solely be the lead of the 9th installment. Obviously, in the last couple of weeks, we have had a few issues with Michelle Rodriguez saying she's not committed to the film as of yet, and this could be one of the reasons why, that the film has been pushed back until May. It could be script rejigging, or it could just be trying to beef up Michelle Rodriguez's character so that she can actually star in the film. But obviously, Vin Diesel, he has been teasing updates on the project via his Instagram page. Obviously, we've seen pre-production set clips, pictures, obviously with him and Justin Lin and also Michelle Rodriguez and Jordana Brewster, who plays his sister in the movie. And these are all to be set to film next month. Sorry, was it March? Yes, March in London. So, obviously, Deadline are the ones who shared the news that Universal has given Fast and Furious 9 a few more weeks before its release in theatres. We don't actually know the main issue for why this has happened, but obviously the franchise's success as of late is considered. The last two movies have made just over $2 billion just for two films, and obviously they made April their own. So this was a bit of a sweet spot for them. Instead, it's moving the franchise to Memorial Day weekend, the same slot that Fast and Furious 6 had, which opened to a then franchise best $97 million over the 3-day weekend, but $117 million over the 4-day holiday, which is still brilliant. So, let's have a quick look here and see what films it will actually go up against. So, obviously it's been pushed back until May, and around that time now, they've put Dominic Toretto and his family up against Godzilla vs. Kong. So it'll be interesting to see how Fast and Furious 9 deals against the King of the Monsters. I personally think Fast and Furious 9 will probably beat him, because a lot more people are more in tune with Fast and Furious, and a lot of people don't really like the kaijus of, obviously, Godzilla. You've got King Kong, because even though Godzilla and King Kong, the last couple of films, have been good, we still got Godzilla, King of the Monsters, coming out this year. So it will be interesting to see how that fares this year. So now moving over to Bond 25, the release date has been pushed back 2 months, so from Valentine's Day it is now taking over what was Fast and Furious 9's date in April, so it's April 8th, 2020. Obviously it's going to be the Easter weekend, and Bond 25 is the only major release to have secured this date, so obviously they thought they could literally go in and swoop up all the people that were looking forward to Fast and Furious action. They can have it now with their own Bond, which I think is great. I'm a big fan of Daniel Craig's Bond. I absolutely love Casino Royale. I think it's one of the best reboots of a series ever done. And it continued on with the same people, which is what I thought was actually quite fascinating. Obviously, you had M, who was still the same, And that just blew my mind. It's like, okay, so it could go into the notion of that the name James Bond and the 007 is just a code name for that era. So 007, it comes its own name as James Bond. Any actor can be it, and if they decide to do that in the future, then all for it. So yeah, so obviously with Bond 25, it's the sequel to Spectre, which came out in 2015, so it'll be just under 5 years before it comes out, the sequel to it, which is the longest in between Daniel Craig's appearances as Bond. Obviously, it's had plenty of roadblocks along the way. Obviously, first of all, it was meant to be Danny Boyle, and I can't remember the guy's name, I think. The one guy who wrote the Trainspotting films with Danny Boyle. They were going to do it, but then MGM and also Barbara Broccoli, she's just like, no, I don't want them. We're going to go another way. So obviously, Danny Boyle, over creative differences, he left the project. It was a big blow to the franchise because it was actually meant to be out this year. And was it this year or last year? Anyway, we'll find out. And we thought of Danny Boyle and Bond, it was going to be a match made in cinematic heaven. Because Danny Boyle's visuals, they just look incredible. And if you had him doing a Bond film with the action as well, and the way Bond is sweeping the globe, it would have just looked... It just would have looked salvating, you know? It would have just looked... You look and go on, that looks tasty, you know? That looks amazing, that looks really good. So, but obviously now Bond 25 has been pushed to the April 8th, 2020. And it'll be interesting to see how... Where is it? Cary Fukunaga, I want to say that's how you say his surname, I'm not too sure. If I'm saying it wrong, I do apologise. But obviously he directed the first entire season of True Detective, which is still one of the best TV shows going, and it's one of the best seasons. Obviously in episode 6 or episode 7, you've got the entire 6.5 minutes one shot going through the little houses, and the action scene where the bikers are taking on the gangsters or the drug dealers. That was just... It was just mind-blowingly brilliant. So obviously you got him now doing the directing, and you've still got the script, which is still by Neil Purvis and Wade. So these are the ones who've done it since The World Is Not Enough. So I think these two are probably the most consistent of all the Bond films recently, and they probably know it better than anyone else bar the producers. But obviously we've had Idris Elba, who's saying, you know, he's not going to be in because obviously this is meant to be Daniel Craig's last Bond film. So obviously he wants to go out with a bang, and we'll see who takes over his mantle. But obviously for Bond 25, we're just quickly going back to this, that rumours of Helena Bonham Carter is the new villain. That has been going around, and if that's true, I absolutely adore Helena Bonham Carter. I love her, whatever she's in, I'll watch. But I say, put her and Bond together, match made in heaven. So anyway, please say thank you for coming here. Please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, and we'll see you soon.